I just like pausing because everybody then stares at me like, what's he going to do? I'm kidding. I'll call this meeting to order. This is the Finance and Government Operations Committee for the City, Albuquerque City Council. Councilor Lewis is excused this evening. All other members are present. This is a hybrid meeting where all participants will be in person, video, or audio conference. Members of the public have the opportunity to address the committee if they have signed up for public comment per the rules published on our agenda and our website on Friday. We will call for the speakers when we get to the individual item they signed up for. Here are the public comment rules for the one person. Comments will be addressed to the committee members only, please. Each participant has 2 minutes to present, and any disruptive conduct will result in removal from the meeting. With that being said, we will move on to agenda item A. This is the recommendation in response to enact number ordinance 2025-025, amending the public purchases ordinance to simplify and streamline the process for affordable and transitional housing development projects. I move for approval.
Second.
Seconded by both Councilor Baca and Councilor Pena. Councilors, do we have any questions for the staff or the administration on it? Nothing? Councilor Baca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just really quick, this is in response to 095 that we updated the procurement code. Really important bill that helps streamline and cut the red tape on getting funding out to build housing, affordable and transitional housing. Big kudos to the mayor's group administration and Jennifer Bradley and Mark Motzko and Julia, our Kuladon, really working as a team. That change from the initial request for proposal to the current request for qualifications, huge difference. I mean, really cut out a lot of stuff. So I urge everybody's support.
Perfect. Any other councilors? And I believe I asked the staff of this, but I'm kind of curious on just a couple of the comments in it. The one thing that there was a couple blaring things in me, but the one of the first ones was the council's approval step. The first recommended change from DMD was to remove or eliminate the requirement that council approve the SAC award. And this was important part of legislation process that involves several levels of review. What was the reasoning behind the removal? And I'm looking toward the administration, if they can answer.
Committee Chair, we have our Director of DMD here.
Hi, Director.
Chair Champagne, members of the committee. So the department, as well as HHH, was asked to provide recommendations for future possible changes by council to existing regulations that could slow down affordable housing development. And so the memo that I signed related to a future topic for potential future council action, which would be removing the requirement for council approval of all of our individual architect, landscape architect, and engineering awards. Currently, those approvals are required by the Selection Advisory Committee ordinance. And to fast track affordable housing, or indeed any construction projects, removing council approval of those awards would speed things up. I've been at the city now for over 5 years. I've been coming to council meetings and FIGO committees talking about these recommended awards that go to council in that entire time, and never once has council reviewed the qualifications or the award by the or the recommendations by the SAC committee. So that's just a proposal for council consideration to speed things up.
So, okay, so let me understand. So the out of all the other things, this was just removing the council's input or approval is the recommendation. Everything else stays into place of all the other whole process of what's going on, just council's input and vote.
Chair Champagne, for the Department of Municipal Development procurement process, which deals with selection of architects, engineers, and landscape architects, as well as the Department of Municipal Development is also involved in the selection of general contractors. My department's recommendation relates to the removal of council approval of every single architect, landscape architect, and engineering contract award.
The part of which, and directed the part of which of the contract awarded being, one of the details is the money part, correct?
Chair Champagne, no, actually, the appropriation of funding for all of our design projects has to separately go to council. So no, the only role that council has is reviewing the selection process and the recommendation of award. Even today at council, you have 3 of these awards for your consideration. So no, it doesn't affect anything to do with the money. It's which is separately appropriated by council. This just relates to naming the firms that will design and engineer the construction projects.
Okay. And when it goes, you guys do it, I take it, and again, this is funny because it's only been 2 years and I'm still kind of getting my feet wet on what's going on. So it's part of the letter of introduction, then goes to FGO, then goes to committee. So that 3-4 week process of waiting is going to streamline it that much more so we can expect a quicker result, being 4 weeks less?
Chair Champagne. So how, right now, we prepare the draft executive communication. It routes through all the different city administration processes. Then it goes on the letter of introduction. Then typically next month, it gets placed on the agenda for FIGO, and then it would finally, after being read out, go to full council. And so that process often takes 3 to 4 months. In the meantime, our design firms are waiting to see if that's approved, and then we start negotiating the contract. And so it's more than just a couple of weeks. It can add, again, 3 to 4 months to the process, and then there's also the contract negotiation. So it is a considerable amount of time.
3 to 4 months just when you give it to council finally after the, 7 or 8 signatures and departments that have to sign off or people that have to sign off on it? So by removing council's step in this, and I'm just trying to understand this, I mean, obviously, if we can streamline government operations, that's, I think the public would be happy with that, and maybe we can get things done quicker. But just the removal of it being brought in front of us removes 3 to 4 months?
Chair Champagne, yes, that is true.
What is the process before then? Of the other 7, I believe it's 7 or 8 signatures that it's got to roll through? How long does that take?
Chair Champagne, for it to route through the city signature process, that takes a week at most, as long as we have everything together. And then before that, we have to publicly advertise, which is great. We want to do that. We publicly advertise that we're looking for architects, engineers, landscape architects, and then we accept proposals, and then we have a committee that reviews the proposals, then scores the proposals. All of that is attached to the executive communications that are before you for today, for example. And then after that, we prepare the executive communication, making the recommendation to council. Goes through council. If it passes council, we negotiate the terms of the contract with the firm before finally signing the contract.
Sounds like a lot in a week, if that all it takes is the admin side is a week and ours is taking about 3 to 4 months. Which I don't, the math doesn't add up on that, and I'm not, Director, I'm not going after you. I'm trying to understand this because we're trying to streamline government, but in order to get 7 signatures and all the processes and stuff, I guess the 7 signatures take about a week, but the whole process before is several months, I would think, which you just described. And then as far as it getting to council, letter of introduction, FGO, regular meeting is only, 4 weeks? So there is a process before. I don't see eliminating the council side of it is going to streamline it compared to the 3 or 4 months it's held before. But that's, again, I'm just looking at it with infant eyes of, is this really the only thing that is holding up the process or the timeline that this could streamline it more, the 1 month with council or the 3 or 4 months of administration, move about of it?
Chair Champagne, I think those are all great questions. I'm just looking at the engineering services one that's before you, and the memo was drafted October 6th, and then we, actually, it was signed by the CAO October 10th, and then it was introduced at the council meeting on October 20th. So it did in fact move pretty quickly through our process, and which is great. It's what we like to see, and here we are on November 10th. So, and then hopefully final action next month. So that in that case, it will be 2 months. In the past, it's been longer. It kind of depends on the council schedule and everything. So again, we were asked, and that was our recommendation.
Okay, perfect. Counselor Sanchez.
Thank you. I just wanted to quickly talk to Ms. Bradley and ask her some questions about this, because I'm sitting here reading this write-up. And if I get this correct, is currently we require purchasing rules that council approves the EC for RFP award to the contractor, ensuring the contract does not need to come back for approval, right? So are we giving up our power as city councilors to make sure that we are making sure that everything runs smoothly? And is that going to cut us out of the mix totally in reference to this? I just want to make sure that I understand that correctly.
Chairman, Councillor Sanchez, there's two parts to this EC. One is DMD's recommendations and the other is HHH recommendations. So I think you're on HHH's recommendations.
Okay.
So as part of their recommendation, I don't know if we want to wait till they come up, or you want me to explain what that part is?
Yeah, go ahead and explain it so that we can kind of get an idea.
In the SAC awards, the Selection Advisory Committee of the Architects and Engineers, and in central purchasing, what council approves by ordinance is the recommendation of award. The RFP has to come in so people can see what the scope is, and then the term of the contract and the amount and everything, so everybody's clear on what's coming in and what exactly we're approving. Once the council approves the recommendation of award, then the department goes back and negotiates contracts. So social services procurement is different than that. Social services procurement has it the opposite way. So what HHH is requesting is that they have it the same way to streamline the city processes so that they're all the same. And so of course, the contract can't be negotiated outside of the scope of the EC. But for both central purchasing and for the SAC, there's pretty set standard contracts that come out. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I'm still kind of a little bit. What the biggest thing is how does this help, and does this take us out of oversight?
So what,
As council.
Chairman, Councilor Sanchez, what DMD is saying is that we don't. I think it was saying that. I think that actually the verb is probably that we may not have rejected any. But we absolutely review every piece of legislation that comes in, including the SAC awards. So it's very much that moving council approval as to where it's approved versus taking it all together, yes, does remove you from the process. So I know that, even though I know they go through all the committees and it's fully vetted by council staff and reviewed, and then, because we have, we explain what it's about for you guys in the write-ups, it is absolutely reviewed and vetted each time.
Okay, so I like the fact that we're reviewing and vetting as a council.
Yes.
I think that's really, really important to me. And I think that we need to continue to review and vet things as a council. So, so passing this takes that away, correct?
Chairman, Councilor Sanchez, yes.
Alrighty, and then,
Councilor, it is just a recommendation though, in this EC.
okay. And then I had another question. And this is this is on our write-up. It's in some, this is a start. It's not clear based on the information in the EC alone how the two-step process would differ, and I think you went over that, right? In reference to housing development projects, other than referring to procurement as requests for qualifications rather than an RFP. Can you explain that process as well?
Chairman, Councilor Sanchez. So there's two recommendations. There's one from DMD and one from HHH. So the one from DMD has two recommendations. That's to remove the council from the approval process and also to update the Selection Advisory Committee membership. So those are their two recommendations on how to streamline. And then HHH has its recommendations where it was going to set up a specific request for qualifications process that was two-step that really didn't differ very much from its current request for proposals process. And I think that they would say that as well, but I would absolutely defer to them on that.
Okay, thanks.
Counselor Baca.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Director Turner, can you come back up? I apologize for. Just as a side note, because it occurred recently, this doesn't address any affordable housing for the CIP process through the affordable housing, does it? In terms of,
Chair Champagne, Councillor Baca, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Ms. Bradley, would you help me out here?
Chairman and Councillor Baca, when we received the capital outlay general appropriations funds from the state, for the first time, it allowed gap financing for affordable housing. And so since we didn't have a process in place for how we use affordable housing gap financing through CIP and through the local government division, we had to go and talk to them, and then we also had to work through with CIP. And so it was a brand new process, brand new way of spending funds. And so we wanted to make sure that next time when it happens, that we have a process in place to make sure that our capital outlay process addresses the affordable housing, including having to qualify as a grantee through clearing special conditions with that requirement. Although a lot of this is HHH that will be doing the qualifying the grantee, it still overlaps with our CIP process. And so what we're saying is merely that is a process in place to address that overlap.
Okay, with the RFQ. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Does that make sense to you, Director Turner?
Chair Champagne and Councillor Baca, so are you looking for DMD to provide additional recommendations on changes to the that process?
Right, because yours talked about the RFPs, but we have the new process with the RFQs where we can do direct funding.
I'm sorry, I'm going to turn it over to HHH Acting Director Ellen Braden, because I know you've been working on the process related to that state money.
Chair Champagne, Councilor Brackett, basically our Department of Health, Housing, and Homelessness addressed the request for RFQs and ensuring that any direct allocations met specific criteria. So I just want to make sure that we're answering the question that you're asking. Are we asking about the RFQ process, or what changes need to be made to CIP? Should there be allocations directly for housing?
Correct.
So
The
I think
second
maybe
one.
if you and I can share the mic, Director Turner, just so we answer your questions.
Yeah.
So Chair Champagne, Councillor Baca, again, DMD was, when it came to the RFQ process, what we did was to weigh in on the types of things we like to see from contractors that build affordable housing, to kind of pre-qualify, right? To make sure they're not just like showed up in the middle of the night and are promising all the things. And so we worked with HHH to kind of say, hey, we want to look for contractors that have this level of experience and qualifications. As far as whether there's additional rules or regulations required to do that, in the event that we get future funds, I guess I'm happy to consider those, but we were able to work within existing authority to kind of get out those requirements and make sure they were vetted.
So you expect to follow the same the new procedure for the RFQ in terms of qualifications that HHH is now using? Did you want, Ms. Bradley?
Chairman, Counselor Baca, there are actually going to be different processes depending on whether there's a direct appropriation from the state for capital outlay or general appropriation, general funds. So one will be if there's a direct allocation, like the D2 affordable housing projects through the grant that we got, and the other is if there's general appropriations. And then there's the existing process in HHH that for like federal funded and everything like that, which will stay the same. And so what we were concerned about, because we had a lot of time that we were spending trying to get the direct appropriations out, is that there wasn't a process in place for that. We did meet with the state local government division. It's the first time ever that there's, that we talked to them about this type of funding. And so if there isn't a way, there wasn't anything in place to do that because it didn't exist. So with the notice of obligation process and the, clearing special conditions and then getting the grant agreement signed, that's all in DMD. And so we some have to coordinate between HHH and DMD to make sure how we're going to qualify the grantees and then talk to each other about that. And so the changes that were recommended in here, while a good start, the overhauling the SAC process probably isn't a bad idea. It doesn't address that coordination, which is what got us hung up to
Right.
begin with.
Okay, thank you. So since this is an EC, can we sit down and talk about this outside of this meeting? Kind of
Chair.
clarify that for when this gets to full council?
Chair Champagne, Councilor Baca would be glad to sit down and meet with you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bradley.
I would actually like to be involved in that as well, if you could, the two of us.
Chair Champagne, we'll make sure that happens. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. I will hold off on my other questions then, so we can sit down and chat. With that being said, any other? Nope. Okay. Madam Clerk.
Tonight, Chair, we can take a vote call with raise of hands.
Oh, that's weird. I think this is the first time we've done that. Yeah, that's true. You're usually on Zoom. That's fine. Yeah, we're all here. All right. Those in favor of, better go back to the EC 25518. Raise your hand and say aye.
Right.
Those opposed? Nay. Okay, so that does not
That fails.
pass. That fails on a 2-2. All right, moving on to agenda item B, EC 252521, Mayor's recommendation of a citywide on-call engineering services for transportation and storm drain projects. Move for an approval. Second by Councilor Baca. All right. Approving this executive communication authorizes the administration to finalize negotiations with the Bohannon Houston Incorporated Horrocks, God, I'm getting old, Engineering, and the Molson Corbin Engineering to provide the Department of Municipal Development with on-call engineering services. The scope of work for the task orders for the contract may include miscellaneous transportation engineering and storm drainage design and consultation, I can't read either tonight, consulting on a variety of projects throughout the city. This includes, but is not limited to, studies, reports, surveying, testing, public meetings, street landscaping design, traffic engineering, hydrology projects, bicycle facility design, construction management, preparation for plans, specifications, estimates, and construction contract documents, as well as other tasks. Councilors, Questions, comments for the administration? Counselor Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to know what the physical impact is. There's no money listed on here, no dollar amount.
Council Chair and Councilor Sanchez, this is just a on-call contract, so it'll be used, so we don't attach any dollar amount to it because it'll just be as departments or municipal development needs to use it.
Okay, so how do we know how much money they're using? How much tax dollars is being spent?
Director.
Chairman and Councilor Sanchez. So these are the engineering firms that will provide scopes and fees to design and engineer capital outlay projects. So when the state gives us money for, I'm just going to make up numbers, let's say they gave us $1 million to design Paseo and Unser widening, then this recommendation of award would allow us to take that already approved council appropriated capital outlay and to assign the engineering work to the firm, to the firm that gave us the scope and fee. And so we can't predict the exact dollar amounts because it's going to depend on how much capital outlay we get from the state or the exact general obligation bond funding that we have. And then also the scope and fee that the engineering firm would provide to us. So for example, we may, in consultation with you, if it's one of your projects, say, okay, well, we want 2 public meetings. How much is that going to cost? So we can't predict all of that up in front. So it really, again, these firms are we're just recommending the firms that will design the projects that council has already approved the funding for.
Got it. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure that the public heard that too. Thank you.
Counselors, any other questions? All right, so we have EC 521. All in favor? Raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. 4-0. I saw your hand. We're good. On agenda item C, EC 25522, the mayor's recommendation of award for Victims of Domestic Violence Advocacy Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Pena. Any questions for the administration or staff? All right. Where was C? This EC is a 4-year contract with the DVRC Incorporated, a nonprofit organization specializing in domestic violence advocacy and victim support. The agreement continues the city's coordinated response to domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking by enhancing services provided through the Family Advocacy Center and collaboration between advocates and law enforcement. We have a second and no questions.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is the one that was requested by the administration for a withdrawal.
Oh, there it is in my notes. I got on autopilot. So, councilors, it has been moved to withdraw by the administration. Do we have to vote on the withdrawal? Yes. We do? Oh, okay. Any questions on the withdrawal? No? Yes, sir.
Council
Mr.
Chair,
Whalen.
just let it be noted that we did walk down a new version of it, and it was just due to a clerical error.
Ah, okay. So we'll see this again soon?
Yeah, Council Chair, you'll see it again. We just had to clean up a clerical thing.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Well, then we will withdraw it, and then we'll see it again soon. All those in favor of the withdrawal?
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
respectfully
Yes, Mr. Mosco.
requesting you make a clear motion that this is a request for withdrawal by the administration.
Yes.
And get a second.
okay. So yes, because the other one was a move, was a due pass. So this is going to be I'll make a motion to withdraw by the administration's request. Second. Seconded by Councilor Lewis. I'm sorry, by Louis, Councilor Sanchez. And all those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Okay. That passes. Move on to D. D is EC 25523. This is the mayor's recommendation for citywide on-call architectural services. Move for approval. Second by Councilor Sanchez. Accepting this executive communication authorizes the administration to increase the pool for the citywide on-call architectural services. The contract is for the purpose of providing architectural and design services to include, but not limited to, studies, analysis, site planning, pre-design, design, and/or construction phases services. Councilors, any questions, concerns, comments? No? All those in favor of the motion of approval, say aye. Yes. Aye. All those against it? None. 3-0. On to E. We'll move to agenda item EC 2552-4. This is the mayor's recommendation of a traffic engineering on-call for the NTMP traffic calming program. Move for approval. Seconded by Councilor Baca. The purpose of this on-call is to provide traffic engineering support on a variety of projects to include the Neighborhood Traffic Management Program, or as I said before, NTMP. The scope is to include, but is not limited to, studies, traffic controls, signal designs, traffic operations, street lighting designs, traffic calming designs, public meetings, safety studies, construction documents, and other engineering duties. Councilors, any questions? Seeing none, I'll go to the vote. All those in favor of the approval, say aye. Yes. Aye. Opposed? Nay. That passes on a 3-0. We'll move on to agenda item F, EC 25525. Child-Friendly Community Action Plan. Move receipt be noted on this one. Second by Councilor Baca. The October 2025 Child-Friendly Community Action Plan outlines ongoing efforts to expand and better coordinate youth programs across Albuquerque. The city is working with Bernalillo County, Albuquerque Public Schools, and New Mexico Public Educational Department and local nonprofits to align and strengthen these programs. Leading the effort is the newly appointed Child Wellbeing Impact Officer, whose job is to keep everything coordinated and focused across the city departments and partners. Councilors, any questions, comments, concerns? None. All those in favor that the receipt be noted, say aye. Yes. Aye? Or yes? I guess I hear yes. Any be opposed? None. That passes 3-0. All right. We'll move on to agenda item G. That is, she's out, but Councilor Peña's 067. And 067 is amending Article 11 of the City of Albuquerque Code of Ordinances to improve the city's budget proposal process and strengthening oversight and accountability measures. This was a motion to defer to the December 8th meeting, 2025. Councilor Peña. We're on 067.
Thank you,
But there's a
Mr.
move
Chair.
for-
Yes. So we have it on there as a move for deferral, but I was talking to the admin today, and it seems as though, after reading the last suggested options, that it looks like we can, so let me start off by saying this. We have been working on this for quite some time now. And I know that it's been a little bit of a challenge to get to where we are today. And I just really want to just commend our staff, especially, and the admin and the budget staff, that I really feel that this is what good governance looks like, right? This is when, we want something, you want something, and we really work through all the nuts and bolts to get this to where it's at now, right? Did we all get exactly what we wanted? No. I know council, wanted additional items put into the budget. I know the admin wanted some additional stuff in the budget, but I really believe that we came to a good spot. So I'm going to, if you guys are prepared, I'm going to ask you guys if you can just kind of go over the ordinance and talk about the changes, and then see where we go from there. And I apologize, I know I did have it for deferral. The reason we had it for deferral, we still felt that there was still some time to get it done before it expired. But if we can get it through tonight, that would be amazing. If not, we can defer, right? If we don't have all the questions and or everyone's prepared, because I did put it down as deferral.
Are you making a motion, Councilor?
So I'll make a
Vice
motion
President?
for a due pass.
Okay. Is there a second on it?
No.
I'm not seeing a second on it.
Stay on the original motion.
So if there's not going to be a second on it, then it will die. The motion for a due pass will not pass. It'll die without the second. So then we go back to what's being said as far as a deferral to December 8th. Is there, the original motion was before you sat down, because I was reading through it, you weren't here. So is there a motion for a deferral to December 8th then?
I would, yeah. I mean, I can make a motion to December 8th. This will give everybody more time to kind of digest the bill, which would be really good. I just want to make sure that we're really cutting it close in terms of time. I was actually pretty happy after talking to the admin today that, you know, we really came to a good place.
Okay.
I'll second that, deferral.
The deferral. Councilor Block.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've deferred this so many times, I just never took the time to actually read it. So, I mean, I have nothing for or against it. It's just a pretty comprehensive bill that
Yeah.
I haven't looked at, so. Yeah, I support deferral, so we can study it up.
And Vice President Pena, that's why I kind of couldn't
Yeah.
second it. It is a lot that, I think it's 87 or 84 pages that I read half and then went, okay, it's deferral, then, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I agree with you wholeheartedly. The reason for the due pass is that when we got to council, anybody can pull it off. Everybody would have a time to kind of read it and make the changes that they felt necessary. The only reason I was kind of acting with urgency right now is because of the time, right? So I figured once we get it further down the road, we can still make those changes and recommendations. So, but if everybody's more comfortable with the deferral, I just want to make sure that we still have time.
And Mr. Montco, how are we on the timeline with it? Or whoever wants to chime in on that one.
Mr. Chair, Councilor Pena, timing-wise, because of the council rule that any bill that is not acted upon within 1 year of its introduction.
Correct.
My understanding is that this bill was introduced on December 16th of last year. And so if we go to the December 8th FGO meeting, we would require immediate action to send it to the December 12th, 15th council meeting for adoption before it dies on expiration on the 16th. So there is time, it's just pretty tight.
So, Mr. Chairman, would the body consider a rec to full council, no rec to full council?
It's, the timing wise, is it going to make a difference? Is it? I mean, you're looking at either pushing it to the December 8th. If it goes recommendation to full council, it goes next. It'll go the 1st of December then, the first meeting in December, and that's going to be a difference of what, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
And
And if it goes to December 8th FGO, it'll then have to be immediate action, but that's 2 extra weeks of of counselors being able to dissect it and come up with questions, if they have anything. Yes, go ahead, Councilor
Mr.
Pena.
Chairman, yes, and so the no rec would be, either way, with a due pass, it would go to council to have a time to digest it and add their amendments and read through it. With the no rec, they would have time to digest it and read through it and make amendments. But when we keep it here in committee, what would actually happen is that then when they get it, they may not have ample time to digest this bill, and then it may die.
Yeah.
And that's why I prefaced it with this, is that this has really, really been a good tug of war. I mean, it really has. I'm really proud of our staff. And you know, I think, again, I'll just rest to say that I think both sides can say that we came to a place where not everyone got what they want, but the city benefited from this work and this exercise.
Okay, Councilor Baca.
Just out of curious question, Mr. Chair, thank you for Councilor Pena. Did any other councilors help out with this? Just, I mean, it's such a big bill, and
No,
oh, okay, so it's what you worked out with the administration.
no.
That's how it
I did
sounds like
not,
to
no,
me.
no,
I
it
don't
does
know if
not
that's
sound
correct.
like that. So I'll have to say that it does not sound like that, because this was not worked out with the administration by no means. And I think our staff and their hard work can attest to that. This was literally good governance at work, where it was a tit for tat and a back and forth for a very long time. We're already upon expiration. That's how much they have had dialogue. And my dialogue and input, the staff can attest to it, is that it's been minimal. It's really about what the needs of the council staff felt that they needed. My recommendations were maybe 2 or 3, you guys can say, in terms of what I wanted to see. And then, of course, they had theirs. This is completely, ask anyone.
Mr. Whalen.
Yeah, no,
Committee Chair and Councilor Pena, yeah, this has been taking not a long time. I think we did our due diligence by working with council staff over several work sessions, like 2-3 hour work sessions, where they were expressing what they felt they needed during budget cycle, and we were expressing our abilities and what our budget staff could do and what we wanted to get done. So it has been, for the lack of a better term, a labor of love, I guess, between us and council staff, but we both worked to get a good bill. So if you review it, there's a lot in there, and we gave on both sides.
Thank you, Mr. Whalen.
Mr. Chairman.
Hey, thank
Vice
you.
President Pena.
Thank you, Ms. Pena.
And Mr. Motzko, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Pena, exactly. We've worked numerous hours across the last several months to update this very old bill, to get into the 21st century, to get to what we came up with your guidance, the best compromises that we could do to both address the administration's need to submit the budget and council staff's need to then go over the budget with the committee of the whole chair, which you were when we started talking about revising the bill. So that's how long ago it's been. So we feel comfortable with your input, with the administration's input, and the meetings that we've had, and have drafted a committee sub that if you wanted to introduce tonight to be held over, we could then inform all of the council in separate meetings about what changes have been made to this bill that's on the floor now.
Mr. Chairman, exactly. So we need a motion to be able to even get that substitute in, so that everyone can have time to process it and digest.
So where are we at then? Because the first original motion was a second to, I
You're
seconded.
supposed to wait for him to.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councilor Sanders.
Yeah, I seconded the motion to defer. So now where are we at?
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Sanchez, I would obviously defer to Ms. Coolidon. We can introduce the committee sub at a later date, but still give the information to all the councilors before it is dropped. So either way that the committee would like to move forward, I can promise you staff will be prepared to give all of the information so that everyone is ready to go for the 15th, and including if anyone had any amendments, everyone would be prepared to do that. So it wouldn't necessarily we wouldn't risk dying on expiration because of the 16th date. We would be meeting on the 15th and addressing it. And Ms. Coolidon might have other comments.
1 second, Ms. Coolidon. So we do have a motion and a second, and we are under discussion of that. So we haven't had voted. If we're going to move and change the idea, we have to then vote the deferral down and make another motion to whatever direction we want to go in at that point. Yes. Good? Okay, perfect. So the motion on the floor, after discussion, the motion right now, currently on the floor, is a deferral. Without any more discussion, it doesn't, if we have another direction, we just have to address the deferral. So with the motion of deferral on the floor, all those in favor of deferring it to December 8th, FGO, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. 1. All those not in favor of it, say no.
No.
Okay, that fails 1 to 3. Yes. Is there another motion then? Vice President Pena.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for a no rec to full council.
Okay, there's a motion to no rec to full council, seconded by Councilor Baca. Was there a committee sub that we wanted to put forth?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I'd like to make a motion for a committee sub to 067.
Okay, can we do that while we're under the no rec? We can do that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Second, so the committee sub is seconded by Councilor Baca. Again, what is the committee sub? Because we just seconded something.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to hand the floor to our staff, Laura Rumler, who has worked extraordinarily diligently with the administration on the committee stub to give you the 30,000-foot overview of the changes to the original bill.
Perfect.
Councilor Chair, the committee sub is about 21 pages long, so I don't know if you want me to read it into the record.
I think everybody wants you to read it. I see the faces out in the public. They want
It
you to
does
read
track.
it. I'm kidding.
So the committee sub, which I believe we've sent, I don't know if it's something we can pull up yet. You can pull it up. Okay. We'll have Mr. Cornelius pull it up on the screen. The committee sub adds and subtracts several of the definitions. Something we'll want every counselor to read through are those definitions because we have added some new ones that you'll want to review. I'm so sorry, I wasn't prepared for a presentation at this moment, but if you could go, Mr. Cornelius, to page 4, program adjustments. We believe that this is a helpful definition that we've worked with the administration to formulate. In the past, you've often heard this being called program savings. So this will be a new definition to help counselors, the public, and the administration all stay on the same page for what that actually means.
Program adjustments, line 14.
Yep, so that's reading strategic budget adjustments, which may include historical vacancy rates to align departments and ensure the most effective use of resources available.
Okay.
Other things we've included are things such as wage increases. We've included the cost of living adjustment. And I believe Councilor Pena would allow me to say that that's one of her major goals in this, is to make sure that cost of living adjustments are well-rounded, understandable for the public as well as city employees, as well as those who are working on the budget. We have adjusted the one-year objectives, so that's moving to the bottom of page 4. A lot of this bill is going to be cleaning up things that we don't do or have historically not done as often, and then pulling it into our modern context. So something we do more frequently, try to streamline it. So there, but we have kept other things that were originally taken out. For example, the Indicator Progress Committee, or Commission, excuse me, has been reestablished in this bill. While we have amended their duties to be slightly shorter, all of the same duties still apply. So that is back in. Scrolling through a lot of it. The other major sections have really just been rearranged. There's been some additions to how the budget is presented to the council. There have been additions to how mid-year cleanups are performed. And there have been additions to how encumbrances are handled in the city council. There have been changes on dates. We have included more clarification on how many business days until things are answered. We have given some time for the budget office to be able to prepare the budget, but also answer questions for the council. And then towards the end, if you'll scroll all the way to the end, Mr. Cornelius, I think the effective date is really important to look at. So this is when it shall take effect. At this time, this is how it's written. But we've given them kind of a tiered effect date. So let it go into effect, and then by next year's budget, it should be in full effect with some reporting and fun things in between.
Vice President Pena.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just want to say thank you, Laura, because you've been amazing throughout this, and then just pulling this off at the last minute. The only reason I acted with, again, I'm going to repeat myself with urgency, is just buying a little bit more time, right? So that the rest of the council, not just us, have ample time to digest it. This really provides that opportunity. And again, I think you guys, I'm going to say it again, I think you guys did amazing. And I think working with the admin, you guys were great too, and thanks for being willing to, make concessions during this entire process. So, with that, I would just urge your support for a no rec. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't know you were closing.
I thought you were closing.
No, I'm sorry. No, that's fine. The closing is good. I have a concern, and if you give me a little bit of freedom from your closing. We had all just kind of talked up here and said we haven't thoroughly gone through 067. We are now voting on an amendment, a committee sub, that's 24 pages that is affecting something that we haven't thoroughly gone through. If we're going to pass this committee sub, I would urge, and it might be my closing to it, I would ask the council staff to schedule with each counselor of not only 67, but then this sub, because it is, we've emphasized so much how important this is, that if we're going, that every counselor should understand it thoroughly. Not only that, but those changes that we just are talking about on such a huge topic. So if you guys are all nodding your heads that we can do this, then yes. Okay. Vice President Pena.
If we're closing.
Yes, for closing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just want to say yes and yes and yes. That's exactly what they were going to do, because this is, it's an antiquated bill and there was a lot of work put into it. So when we made our first recommendations and put the bill forward, it was a end game for the administration. And so we said, hey, give us your ideas, we'll incorporate them. So that's exactly what this sub is made up of. It's that half-year long worth of debate back and forth and trying to get to where we needed to get. And hence this. So this is exactly why I kind of jumped the gun when I felt like the admin felt good with the last reiteration that we sent to them. And they said that, they're not completely happy, but it was a give and take. And so this is why I personally here today wanted to buy time so that the rest of the counselors can digest it. I don't mean to repeat that. And then I just wanted, just for the record, to say that many, many bills most bills are passed with one sponsor. So I do not appreciate asking that I was the only sponsor on this bill and the only one to read this, because it happens all the time. So thank you so much. I urge your support.
That being said, we will vote on the committee sub. So those in favor of the committee sub, raise your hand and say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed? No. Passes on a 3-1. Now we're back on the bill, and the motion on the bill was without recommendation.
Yes.
Are we good with that same motion? Okay. That being said, all those in favor of pass, it would be a do pass without no, it'd just be without recommendation. All those in favor without recommendation, raise your hand and say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? No. All right, so it passes without recommendation on a 3-1 vote. Counselor Baca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is R197. I am moving it for Councilor Rogers, who is moving it by request of the administration. Amending the adopted capital improvement program for the City of Albuquerque Aviation Department by transferring funds to existing projects, approving new projects, and accepting state grant funding. I move do pass.
So motion for a do pass on 197. We have a second. I'll second it for discussion. Councilor Sanchez.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that this bill does not compete with my bill in reference to the observation deck. Yes, I'm asking our council services.
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Sanchez, that is correct. This is an additional cleanup bill that moves money around within Aviation's Fund 613, which is their operating fund. There is a $75,000 grant acceptance from the New Mexico Tourism Department that requires a $10,000 match, so that was also in there. But no, it has nothing to do with the observation deck, previous cleanup, nor your reserve on those funds.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Motzko, I had several other questions earlier today. Did we clear up the numbers on that? And they're adding properly?
Mr. Chairman, yes, there appears to be in the write-up a $315,000 discrepancy between what they've appropriated and what they're going to spend on. With that $75,000 grant taken off of the 7.085, that leaves a delta of $390,000 as indicated in the memo.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Motzko. Councilors, any other questions, comments? Okay. With that being said, all those in favor of, we're on H. Oh, I'll go to Baca for closing.
Thank you. I urge your support.
Motion is a do pass for R197. All those in favor, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. That passes unanimous. I'm not going to say for no's because and we'll move on to R25198. Baca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. R199, establishing funding for affordable housing.
198.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we skip 199? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. R198, assessing district benefit fees for the Albuquerque Tourism Marketing District in accordance with the approved budget. I move do pass.
Motions for a do pass. Do we have a second? All right, we'll second it then. And we do have one, is there no amendments or anything like that discussion? Before discussion on it, we'll go to the speaker then. Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have Tanya Armenta signed up to speak.
Chair Champagne and members of the committee, on behalf of the Visit Albuquerque Board of Directors and the Albuquerque Tourism Marketing District Governance Committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present the progress report, the Tourism Marketing District Progress Report and Budget This body has been supportive of this initiative. This is 3.5 years into the initiative around the Albuquerque Tourism Marketing District, and this is an annual process in regards to the progress report. This assessment is championed by the hotel community, so by our business community here, the hotel community. It's been transformative in the way that we've been able to share the city, market and sell the city. It allows for year-round marketing of the community and for greater reach and frequency. I hope you've had an opportunity to review the progress report and hopefully have seen the marketing when you've been out traveling in regards to increasing the appeal and the awareness of the community. Some of the highlights from the progress report is that on behalf of in tourism marketing ad effectiveness study this year for the dollars that were spent in 9 key markets, the return to Albuquerque, the return on investment was $22 to 1. So for every dollar spent in regards to travel back to Albuquerque, to those travel dollars being spent in Albuquerque, 22 to 1. We've also each year been able to do a grant program. This last year, $500,000 in tourism grant program funding to 32 organizations that benefited from those tourism grants, along with other visitor enhancements. And I ready for any questions and appreciate the support, the previous support of the Tourism Marketing District.
Councilors, do we have any questions? Councilor Barker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a question, just a quick thank you to Director Armenta. Visit ABQ does a tremendous amount of work for the city in regards to whether it's marketing, whether it's bringing in new businesses, supporting our hotel industry. I mean, just grants to local groups who support activities throughout the entire city. They just do a tremendous amount of work, and I absolutely urge everyone's support on this.
Nope. All right, seeing no more questions, concerns. Motion is on the table for a do pass. All those in favor, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. Passes unanimous. On to agenda item J, R2599.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Do you want to read? Okay,
Yeah, that's
Councilor Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm moving this for Councilor Feeblecorn, R199, establishing funding for affordable housing as a citywide priority for the city of Albuquerque for the second session of the 57th New Mexico State Legislature. I move do pass.
Motion is for a do pass on R199. Second. I'll second it. Any discussion, councilors? Councilor Bach?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Although this is for Councilor Feeblecorn, this is one of the big things we've done the last several years at the legislature, especially this last year, where quite a few dollars came to the city and the county for affordable housing here that we desperately need. So this is just urging for that to continue that process. Thank you.
Perfect, Councilor Baca. We have made this a couple times, well, the 2 times before. And we've received a substantial amount of money from the state in reference to this before. And it's been very effective, I would say. Okay.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, yes, I think that the city received 20 million, county received 60 million this year. I personally received 7.4 from the governor and the Speaker of the House and a couple others. So we've been pretty successful, and I'd like to think that with a lot of the changes we've made in the procurement code and working with the administration to really cut out that red tape and get the dollars out the door, that this upcoming year will be fruitful for us as well.
Councilors, any other discussion? All right, the motion is a do pass. All those in favor, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. All right, that passes unanimously. I believe that was the last thing on our agenda. With nothing else on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. Good night. Good night.